Starting your morning on 9 News at 8, an update on a Colorado fire that's led to evacuations for people living within 2 miles of the burn. And record high temperatures continue to push into Colorado as a cold snap moves through the southeast. What's driving the strange weather patterns this spring and what it could mean for fire danger. And the FCC has approved Nexstar's acquisition of Tegna despite lawmakers fighting for the deal to be paused. What's next as the motion heads to the courts? We start with some breaking news this morning. Denver police are investigating a hit-and-run fatal traffic crash on eastbound I-70 and Havana. This is what it looked like a short time ago. We're told the crash involved 4 motorists. 1 person was pronounced dead at the scene. Another person has been taken to a local hospital. Right now, I-70 eastbound remains closed at Central Park. Also breaking, Denver police have issued a Medina alert after a crash between a car and an electric scooter. It happened at 15th and Market Streets. The scooter rider is in the hospital with serious injuries. At this point, DPD has not provided any information on the vehicle or driver involved. We begin this morning with a live look over Fort Collins at CSU. Beautiful start to the day. Those temperatures already climbing up into the upper 50s, and we are expecting to see record-breaking heat once again. Good morning, and thanks for joining us. I'm Evan Krugel. Let's get right over to Weather Impact Team meteorologist Carly Cassidy. Carly, this has been quite a stretch we've been in, and those record highs just continue.
Yep, and even all the way into next week, too. Wow. Do you like the heat?
I don't like this heat.
Yeah, not
in
yet,
March, that's for sure. Yeah.
I kind of feel that too. It's like, it's nice to have some of that heat, of course, but we've been having a lot of it. And we actually talked about this last hour, Evan and I did. So, asked him, did you turn on your fan on the AC? Yes, we both did.
I wish it was
we did.
As powerful as the one behind you.
This one is a lot, isn't it? It's really working hard. We got that high heat. So you may have as well turned on the air conditioning at home because we are talking that high heat, especially for today. It's that high pressure system, that ridge. It's really building and peaking today. 90 degrees. That's our afternoon high temperature for our forecast. Our record, another one most likely falling today. That's at 78 degrees. So definitely beating that one out. We usually feel these temperatures in June. We are way ahead of schedule here. And also another record looking to beat April 30th, 1992. That's the earliest 90-degree day here in Denver. But of course, for today with that forecast, looking to beat that. This morning, thankfully, not there just yet, but with that sunshine, just a little bit of that high cloud cover, we'll get there in no time. This morning, already in the low to mid 50s, almost 60 out at the airport. All the way across the state, we're seeing those cool temperatures to start. A little bit chilly in the high country still, but by this afternoon, here comes all of that heat. Everybody feeling it, so we'll talk more about those temperatures, the red flag warning in place for that high fire danger, and then those cooler temperatures for tomorrow in my full forecast.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Carly. A SWAT officer with Longmont police is on administrative leave after shooting and killing a woman. It happened around 4:15 on Thursday afternoon at a home on East 3rd Avenue near Great Western Drive. Longmont Public Safety says officers responded to a call about a suicidal woman. They say they made contact with her and she fired a gun inside the garage as they were leaving. They tried to make contact with her and called for backup. As officers tried to negotiate with her, they say she left the garage with the gun and an officer shot her. The woman was taken to the hospital where she later died. A critical incident team made up of agencies across Boulder County is now investigating. Longmont police are not involved in that. More than 1,000 acres of Army property has burned in a fire. The so-called 24 fire near Fort Carson forced people to evacuate their homes yesterday. Fremont County Sheriff's deputies went door to door telling people within 2 miles of the fire that they needed to leave. The fire's been burning since Wednesday, but gained intensity yesterday.
We thought we had a good handle on it, and the weather took a turn on us, and it was windy, and the humidity was high, and so the fire jumped our fire line that we had containment on and grew.
The good news here, Fort Carson says no one has been hurt in the fire and no damage to any buildings has been reported. Castle Rock Police and the Douglas County District Attorney's Office are asking for help finding a convicted sex offender. The DA's office says this guy, 45-year-old Jorge Campos, did not show up to court to hear his verdict yesterday. He reportedly cut off his ankle monitor and they can't find him. The DA's office says he repeatedly assaulted a child from 2021 to 2023. Campos faces mandatory prison time. A sentencing date will be set after police find him. If you see him, you're asked to call 911. Investigators say a grass fire that burned 2 acres in Larimer County this week was sparked by fireworks. The fire was reported around 2 o'clock in the afternoon Wednesday in Wellington. Investigators in the sheriff's office say the fire started after a child lit a firework in a ditch. They say the child's parents are fully cooperating with the investigation. Luckily, no one was hurt and the fire did not damage anything. The airport near Steamboat Springs is joining DIA in accepting gift cards and food for TSA workers. It's to support the government employees missing wages due to the partial government shutdown. Yampa Valley Regional announced the donation drive this week. Airport screeners have been working without pay for 35 days and counting now. TSA officers missed their first full paycheck last weekend, and absences are climbing around the country. More than half of scheduled staff were absent Sunday at an airport in Houston. At Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, 38% of officers missed work on Wednesday, and another 32% missed on Thursday, and that has led to some long lines. Homeland Security says at least 376 officers have quit their jobs since the shutdown began on Valentine's Day. About 1,100 quit during last year's shutdown, which eventually ended in November. Well, the U.S. is moving more forces toward the Middle East as fighting involving Iran stretches into a 4th week. Tensions are rippling across the region. CNN's Colin Jeffrey has the latest.
On Friday, President Donald Trump had this assessment of the war in Iran.
I think we've won. We've knocked out their Navy, their Air Force. We've knocked out their anti-aircraft. We've knocked out everything. We're roaming free.
Yet thousands more Marines and sailors are now expected to deploy to the Middle East, according to 2 U.S. officials. The most recent troop movement includes the 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit and the Boxer Amphibious Ready Group. But the officials said it is still unclear if the entire unit or just a portion will deploy. Together, the unit and its ships can total about 4,500 personnel. The increase in troops comes as the human toll increases in the region. Iranian state media says more than 18,000 civilians have been injured since hostilities began, according to the Iranian Red Crescent Society. And in Lebanon, where Israel has renewed its strikes, the government says the number of people killed surpassed 1,000 this week. And a United Nations representative says a fifth of the country's population has been displaced.
What we see is that the people who are fleeing, men, women, children, older people, they're fleeing without bringing anything because they're really terrified to be caught up in these attacks.
A CNN reporter described seeing body after body after body, tiny little bodies, being brought to a burial ground following an Israeli strike. I'm Colin Jeffrey reporting.
President Trump has reversed his reversal of an endorsement of a Republican congressman in Colorado. Trump first backed Representative Jeff Hurd, then disowned him and offered support for his primary challenger after Hurd voted against Trump's tariffs. Now Trump is back to supporting Hurd. Hurd is a freshman Republican in the Western Slope seat that was once held by Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. He crossed Trump by opposing his tariffs, so Trump denounced and unendorsed him. He turned to endorsing Hope Scheppelman. Then Friday morning, Trump abandoned her and went back to Hurd. Trump says he'll give Scheppelman a job in his administration. Democratic attorneys general, including Colorado's, are asking a federal court to pause the acquisition of 9 News and its parent company Tegna by Nexstar, which owns Fox 31. Nexstar has said that multiple stations in the same city will be combined. The AGs are suing in federal court in California, arguing that waiving ownership rules to allow America's largest TV station owner to get bigger violates anti-monopoly rules. Nexstar says it's a necessary step to compete with big tech. President Trump supported the deal, saying it would, quote, help knock out the fake news. The AGs followed up their lawsuit with the request to pause the deal before newsrooms are closed and journalists are laid off. In their motion, the AGs wrote, quote, once newsrooms are consolidated, staff terminated, and operations integrated, the lost independent rivalry and locally cultivated content cannot realistically be reconstructed later. The filing says the companies and the Trump administration rushed to approve the deal within hours of their lawsuit to avoid scrutiny in court. The AG's filing says Nexstar said the deal is done, so it can't be paused. Nexstar declined to comment on the motion. A judge has yet to rule on it.